My life, until about 6 months ago, was boring. That's the only word for it. I'd wake up in my boring apartment with its boring walls, put on my boring work uniform, and go to a job where I felt utterly, completely boring. My existence was a flat line, a steady, monotonous hum of quiet desperation. There was no excitement, no color, no joy, just the ticking of a clock, marking time I felt I was wasting. I suppose that's why the ad got me. You've seen them. They're everywhere now, slithering into your social media feeds between photos of your friends' babies and bad political takes. It was for one of those trendy subscription box companies. I won't use their name, I don't want to give them the satisfaction. Their whole gimmick was hyper-personalized, algorithm-driven experiences. You fill out a long, detailed questionnaire, and their state-of-the-art AI curates a monthly box just for you. The theme that caught my eye was simple nostalgia. The ad promised a curated journey back to the moments that made you cheesy, I know. But in my beige world, the idea of getting a box full of color, a box full of a happier past, was intoxicating. It was an impulse buy, a small act of rebellion against the crushing monotony. I filled out the questionnaire, my birth year, favorite childhood TV shows, music I listened to in high school, all the standard data mining stuff, and then I promptly forgot about it. 2 weeks later, the first box arrived. It was a simple, clean white box with the company's minimalist logo on it. Inside, nestled in crinkly paper, was a treasure trove of candy from the 90s. The kind with the impossibly sour powder, the chalky little discs in a roll, the gum that came in a pouch and lost its flavor in 30 seconds. I laughed. It was a genuine, surprised laugh, a sound I hadn't made in a long time. It was a perfect first box. A simple, universal shot of nostalgia. I ate a whole packet of the sour powder and felt like a kid again. The next month, the second box arrived. This one contained a toy. A perfectly replicated version of one of those stretchy, muscular action figures that every kid I knew either had or desperately wanted. I hadn't thought about that toy in 20 years. But the moment I saw it, the rubbery smell and the feel of it in my hands came rushing back. The algorithm was good, really good. It was plucking these half-forgotten memories from the ether and delivering them to my door. For the first time in a long time, I had something to look forward to. Box 3 had a DVD copy of a goofy family adventure movie from the 80s, the kind I used to watch on rainy Saturday afternoons. Box 4 had a collection of CDs from rock bands that were the entire soundtrack to my teenage years. Each box was a perfectly crafted hit of dopamine, a reminder of a time when life wasn't so beige. I was a happy customer. I even recommended the service to a coworker. Then came the fifth box. And that's when everything started to go wrong. It arrived on a Tuesday. I opened it with the now familiar sense of pleasant anticipation. Inside, sitting on the paper shred, was a small plush bear. It was worn, its brown fur matted in places, with one of its black button eyes slightly loose. My breath caught in my throat. I knew this bear. It wasn't a replica. It wasn't a similar toy. It was him. His name was Barnaby. My mother had given him to me when I was 5. Right after a nasty fall that landed me in the hospital with stitches. He was my constant companion, my confidant, my guardian against closet monsters. My mother, she passed away from cancer when I was 12. After the funeral, in the chaotic, grief-stricken aftermath of cleaning out her things, Barnaby vanished. I always assumed he'd been accidentally thrown out or given away. I hadn't seen him in over 15 years, and here he was. In a subscription box, the pleasant nostalgia curdled into a cold, creeping unease. How was this possible? This wasn't something a questionnaire could tell you. This wasn't a shared cultural touchstone. This was a deep, personal, lost artifact from my life. A fluke, I told myself. A coincidence of cosmic proportions. I emailed their customer service. My hands were shaking as I typed, "To whom it may concern." I received my latest box today, and I have a serious question. The item inside was a stuffed bear. This isn't just a similar toy. I believe it is the actual toy I owned as a child, which was lost more than 15 years ago after my mother passed away. Can you please tell me how you acquired this item? This is very unsettling. I waited. The response came 2 hours later. It was a bland, corporate template that did nothing to soothe my growing anxiety. Dear valued subscriber, thank you for your feedback. We're so glad you're enjoying your personalized experience. Our proprietary algorithm is state-of-the-art, designed to connect you with the most meaningful and resonant artifacts from your past to create a truly unique journey into nostalgia. We hope you continue to enjoy your subscription. Sincerely, the development team, the cheerfulness, the corporate jargon, the complete and utter dismissal of my question, it was chilling. Personalized experience, resonant artifacts. They were confirming it in the most detached, inhuman way possible. They knew. That's when the fear really started. The boxes started arriving more frequently. No longer once a month. The next one came a week later. Then another. 4 days after that, I hadn't been charged for them. I checked my credit card statement. There was only the one initial monthly charge. But the boxes kept coming, appearing on my doorstep like strange, silent offerings. And the contents shifted from lost to stolen. One box contained the silver watch my grandfather had given me. It had been stolen from my locker at the gym 3 years ago. I'd filed a police report and everything. I'd never seen it again. But here it was, ticking perfectly, the familiar scratch still on the crystal. Another box, smaller this time, contained a single faded concert ticket. A local band I'd loved in college. I remember that night vividly, not for the music, but because my coat had been pickpocketed on the subway ride home. My wallet was gone, and with it, the ticket stub I'd kept as a souvenir. It was creased in the exact same place I remembered. My paranoia skyrocketed. I was being watched. I had to be. How else could they know these things? They didn't just have my data, they had my life. My losses, my violations. I started checking my locks obsessively. I felt like I was being observed through my own windows. Was my apartment bugged? Was my phone compromised? Every shadow seemed to hold a watching eye. I had to stop it. I went to their website, my heart pounding with a frantic, desperate energy. The site was beautiful, all clean lines and minimalist design. But it was a facade. I scoured every page, every link, every word of the FAQ. There was no cancel subscription button. There was no phone number. There was no physical address. Just the same email address for the them. I emailed them again, my message a frantic all-caps demand to stop. Stop sending me boxes. Cancel my account immediately. How are you getting these things? Stop contacting me. The reply was instantaneous, identical to the first one. Dear valued subscriber, we're so glad you're enjoying your personalized experience. I called my credit card company and told them to block all future charges from the company. The woman on the phone was sympathetic, but she confirmed what I already knew. They hadn't tried to charge me again since the first month. 2 days later, another box appeared on my doorstep. It arrived even though I was no longer a paying customer. The transaction was over. But this wasn't a transaction anymore. I was trapped in a relationship I had never agreed to. I left the box on my doorstep, refusing to touch it. It was still there the next morning. And the next, a silent white sentinel, a constant reminder of my powerlessness. That brings me to last night, the final box. It was different from the others. It was larger, flatter, and felt strangely light. It had been sitting on my doorstep for days, and I couldn't stand looking at it anymore. My fear had curdled into a kind of fatalistic dread. I needed to know. I needed to see what final, impossible piece of my past they had dredged up. I brought it inside, set it on my kitchen table, and slit the tape with a shaking hand. I lifted the flaps. Inside, there was no crinkly paper, no object. The box was empty. For a moment, I felt a wave of relief. It was over. It was just an empty box. A final, weird prank. But then I saw it. At the very bottom, lying face up, was a single Polaroid picture. My hands trembled as I reached in and picked it up. The photo was faded. The colors washed out in that way only old Polaroids are. It was me, about 10 years old, with a goofy, gap-toothed grin. My arm was around my mother. She was looking at the camera, her head tilted slightly, a genuine, happy, beautiful smile on her face. She looked so healthy, so alive. I remembered the day it was taken, a picnic in the park, a warm summer afternoon a year before she got sick. A perfect day, a stolen moment, not of nostalgia, but of a life that was gone forever. A single hot tear rolled down my cheek and splashed onto the photo. As I wiped it away, my thumb brushed against something tucked into the white border at the bottom of the picture. It was a small, folded piece of paper. With a sense of profound, soul-deep dread, I unfolded it. The note was handwritten in a neat, precise script, the same elegant, sharp cursive I imagined had written the website's copy. The message was short. 6 simple words. We can get anything back for you. I dropped the photo as if it had burned me. My mind was reeling, the implications of that sentence crashing down on me like a physical weight. Anything. Lost toys. Stolen watches. And now, a perfect, tangible memory of a person who was gone. This wasn't a subscription service. It was a demonstration, a capabilities presentation. They weren't selling me nostalgia. They were showing me their power. They were showing me what they could do. My eyes fell back to the box, and I saw there was another, smaller fold of paper I had missed. I picked it up. It had 2 words on it, 2 words that transformed their demonstration from an incredible offer into a terrifying demand. 2 words that explained everything, and have left me sleepless and shaking with a fear I don't know how to name. Who's next? I don't know what to do. The box is still on my table. The photo of my mother is staring up at me, and that question is hanging in the air of my small, beige apartment, filling it with a color so dark, so terrifying, I think it might finally swallow me whole.